So let's talk. So I'm Kelly Forrester. I'm here with Lisa McMann, best-selling author of...
Her book was upside down. Did you catch that?
Upside down.
It's in a cabinet.
of the Wake trilogy. So the first thing I wanted to ask was, how is Miss Spoobin?
Oh, Miss Spoobin. You know, I feel bad about this, but she didn't make the trip.
Oh no.
I know.
She stayed home with the other
She stayed
silverware?
home with the other silverware.
Oh, I thought she might have gotten lost or like
No.
dropped out the window.
She may be blind, but she doesn't get lost. But no, she didn't make it along this trip. I meant to take her, and I don't know what happened. I don't actually. I do know where she is. I almost was going to say I don't know where she is because we actually moved since Miss Spoobin came into my possession, which I did not steal her. Let's get this clear.
I know. I read. You called
The
hotel and
manager
asked.
gave it to me. I walked right up to him and I told him the story of Miss Spoobin, and he said, "Okay, have the
Have the
spoon."
spoon, lady.
It was really innocent. So yeah, she is not here, but she is fine wherever she is.
Well, that's good to know.
She got packed away somewhere.
So are you still in Arizona?
Mm-hmm. Yes, just moved
different
in
town?
a different house. We actually moved into a house where I didn't have to write and do all my work in the middle of the living room. So it's great. I have an office now, which is
Excellent.
yes, yes. So
I do a lot of mine in the bedroom.
yeah,
With the kids and animals scampering around. It's kind of crazy.
it is. It's difficult to work like that, but we do what we can.
So I was wondering, I know that this was your third manuscript, I believe, but the first one that sold, well, Wake was. So do you have any plans on going back to the first one and trying to do anything with that at some point?
I think I would do that sometime. I think the first one has merit. It's totally different though than the paranormal young adult stuff. So what I really want to do is make sure I have an audience of young adults and adults who like to read young adult stuff, and so and get to a point where they know that Lisa McMann writes this kind of book, and we can count on her to keep writing this kind of book, and that's what I want to do. And so I have plans to continue writing more similar stuff, and then I'm going to be starting a new line of dystopian fantasy series, which I might actually read a little bit from tonight.
Oh, really?
And then it depends if people vote for it or not.
Absolutely. We're the ones that count.
Right. So I'll probably
love
read
dystopian fantasy.
from that. I wrote it 3 years ago, actually, and we were just waiting for the right time. We wanted to get through the Wake trilogy and be done with that before bringing on a whole nother new
I was
thing.
wondering about that. I saw your schedule of, what we had. It's just like, wow, how did she write all of those?
Well,
Yeah.
I wrote Wake and Fade. Thank you. One right after the other. And then, while I was waiting, Wake had sold, and I was waiting for it to come out, and going a little stir crazy, and I just thought, I'm going to just start writing this other book, and I had this idea, and that summer, before Wake actually came out, but after I'd written Wake and Fade, I wrote The Unwanteds, which is about a society where strength and intelligence is rewarded, and creativity is punishable by death.
Oh, yikes.
So when you turn 13, you're put into a category. You're either wanted, necessary, or unwanted.
Oh.
And the unwanteds are sent to the death farm. And
Wow.
this story follows that group from this particular year. So yeah, I'll probably
sounds
read a
really
little bit
cool.
from that today.
I want to read that.
How long do they stay on the death farm?
You'll have to read the book. It doesn't come out for a year and a
Totally
half.
got me here.
So yes.
So I know that you're also coming out with Criers Cross.
Criers Cross is my next book, and that will be out next February. And that is about a girl named Kendall who lives in a very small farming town in Montana. And the high school that she goes to has only about, the entire high school is only about 22 kids. And when a new family sort of moves into the area, people at the school start to go missing. So it's, for a small town, more than one person has gone missing. That's becomes this incredibly horrific situation for the town. And it's paranormal, just like the Wake trilogy. There are no dreams, though. And there's also a very hot guy.
Of course, there has to be the hot guy.
I like the hot guy.
I love
Even if,
Kate.
you know,
He was
I love
awesome.
the geeky
Yeah.
hot guy. I love the not geeky hot guy. Just like a variety of them around us at all times.
So, do you find that you prefer writing a series, or I know that Crier's Cross stands alone, but
Right.
Dystopian is a series, and obviously Wake was the series. Which one? Does it make a difference?
Not really. If a story feels like it still has more to be told, then it becomes a series, you know, I guess. I didn't intend when I first started writing for Wake to be a series. But once I finished writing Wake, I knew there was more to tell, and so that became it. And I didn't really start The Unwanteds thinking it was going to be a series either, but when I finished that, I realized there's a whole nother story here that needs to be told. So I don't ever plan them, but until they're written, and then kind of, you know, realize, oh, this is what has this. And when I wrote Crier's Cross, I knew this is not a series, this is definitely a standalone book. We just can't rehash this story in any other way that seems like it would be worth my reader's while to invest in. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite among the books that you've written?
I really don't. I've tried to think of this before. Like, if I had to pick one to save, I don't know which one it would be, because they're like your children, you know? You love them all in different ways, so.
So, how did the process of getting published differ from your expectations, if at all?
Well, when I wrote my first manuscript, I, at that time, could not imagine writing another one, ever, then. Because it was so hard. And it takes so much out of you. It's a very draining process, you guys know this.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
And I thought it would get published. And I was looking for an agent, and I got about 70 rejections from agents, and I had many people say this is a good book, but you know, it's just, there's nothing there that just will make this a good breakout book, or you know, it was just, I don't know, not the right time for that one. So in the meanwhile, when you're writing all these query letters and sending them out trying to get an agent, you have to write some more. And so I started a second book, and that one is under the bed forever. No one will ever see that one. I never sent out query letters for it. It was a good practice book.
How long did that one take you to write? I'm curious.
6 weeks. I write
Wow.
very fast.
Wow, we're
I know,
opposite.
people do
Yeah.
that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
gosh.
write really fast. But, I mean, that's the rough draft. So there's always more
Right,
months
and
and
then you
months
have to go
involved.
back and revise.
Yes,
Right.
yeah. I always
Did
write
you
the
do
rough.
that with the second book, or did you just kind of write it and then go, no?
No, I revised it at least once or twice, I think. And then I liked it, but it just, you know what it was? It was preachy, and I didn't like that. Because,
Right.
you know, maybe I had some issues I needed to deal with, and when we deal with our issues in our writing, we have to disguise them and not make them into some sort of preachiness. And for some reason, that book turned out preachy, and I don't like that at all, because
No.
that's not what entertainers do, and that's what we are. We're entertainers.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really loved about the series, and about Fade especially, which tackled, you know, the touchy subject matter, was that, you know, it got across this great lesson, but it never was preachy at all. It was an entertaining story.
Oh, good.
You know, and the lesson was just underneath, which is how it should be.
Thank you.
You know.